Hello, everyone. Good morning. Happy International Women's Day. I'm super happy, super glad to be with you here today. Thank you for joining. Thank you also for the men that are joining us. So a special day to celebrate and to reflect together. So I'm going to start sharing some slides that I prepare to facilitate a reflection and a conversation on the occasion of International Women's Day. So bear with me. Okay, so this is an invitation to reflect about power skills. Let's stop calling them soft skills, and because they are power skill. And probably most of you know me. I'm the chapter engagement manager for Europe. I'm part of PMI family. I'm a psychologist by background and a coach. I'm based in the UK, in London. I love about London the diversity. Today is snowing in London. And I'm looking forward for the long days and the summertime. As Elena was saying in the chat, I practice yoga. I think yoga is really important to me because it helps me grounded and keeps like me in the moment, in the present. And I think today it's going to be an invitation to reflect not only in the doing, but also in the being. Sometimes at work, we put our persona, our working persona, and focus just in tasks, in the doing. But it's really important to integrate who we are. And power skills are about that, are about like women, and men's skills are the skills that make us who we are. So this is an invitation to close that gap, that bridge between our doing and our being. And I was born in Argentina, and I have a family of European immigrants that I'm going to tell more about it in a second. So every time we start preparing a presentation, sometimes we put in place an agenda, and probably we start thinking like about the end state in mind, what it's the key message that we want to tell the audience. I always like to prepare presentations following this model, the think, feel, do model, because essentially we are emotional beings that learn to think, but emotions are a key part of who we are. So rather than just focusing on the message, I always try to think and reflect on the think, feel, do model. So for today's session on the thinking, I would like us to reflect on the role of power skills and their positive correlation with projects and business success. I also would like us to feel energized or re-energized and inspired by the women who made us in the shape we are today. Those special women that in a way shape you in the persona you are today. So start thinking about those great role models. Could be from a personal perspective, could be at work, a colleague, a former boss. And on the doing, because we are a community of project managers that want to take action, I would like us also to acknowledge our own strengths and commit to unleash our power skills to make a positive mark at work, but also in the world, integrating what we do and who we are, that element of doing and being. So this is my invitation for today's session. Having said that, I would like to take a step back and reflect a little bit about the women behind me, the women that shaped me, and I think they have been role models for me in my life. So I'm going to start with my great-grandmother. She was from Portugal, and she moved to Argentina because of the war in Europe. And she never came back to Europe. She never saw her family, her mother again. And for me, she is an absolutely example of courage and strength because she was able to transform a project into action and start a life again in another country with passion and energy. The second great role model for me is my granny. She was, for me, example of compassion, empathy. She always prioritized people, the family, human first. So I think every time I try to be empathic, I think about my granny. And my greatest role model is my mother. She's an absolutely stark example of resilience and positivism. She was mother and father at the same time. So for me, she's always example of keep going. As we know, emotions are contagious. We can absorb a lot the energy of other people, and we also make a mark in other people with our energy. So staying positive, staying resilient, it's really important. It also, research shows that resilience and positivism protects our mental health. So really important. And my mother is a great example. But it's not a presentation about me or about my life. This was kind of a starting point. This is an invitation for you to reflect on the women behind you. No matter you are a woman in the audience, a man, let's think, who are the women behind you, the women who make you in the way you are today? And what values and skills do you recognize in these women? So if you go to the Mentimeter tab, you can see the chat, you see people, you see Q&A and Mentimeter. If you go to Mentimeter, this is an invitation to reflect on the women that shape you in any form. So let's take a couple of minutes to complete these values. So you can use the Mentimeter tab. It's no code, it's embedded in the tool. So you have chat, you have people, Q&A, and if you press in Mentimeter, you will have the questions in there to tap your answers. Can you see it? No, I will put the Mentimeter code in the chat then. So the code is 1 second while we're completing. Some people are completing right now. I will put the code for the ones that can't access. This is the code. Some responses are coming. Let's keep 2 more minutes so everyone can input. Okay. Thank you, Mariam. Yes, like if we see chat, people, Q&A, Mentimeter, there you can complete. I'm going to share some of the responses while we are completing as well. So let's see what these great skills, a lot of things in there. Let's focus on the most big answers: empathy, resilience, courage, strength, freedom, caring, loving people, unconditional love, kindness, amazing world cloud. I think this it's an opportunity to acknowledge these strengths, these values, and probably because you pick those values, those skills, those values are inside you, are part of who you are. So a great opportunity to acknowledge these women and also to acknowledge these positive skills, these human skills that we are going to be continue speaking today. So let's come back to our presentation. So let me go again to the PowerPoint slides. Okay, perfect. So this exercise was an invitation to pause, reflect about skills, about values, about women energy. And the reason I decided to put this exercise for us is because historically, women tend to evaluate ourselves, as less competent than men. especially in women below 40 years, like we tend to evaluate ourselves as less competent as we are. But research shows, in fact, that women are highly effective at emotional intelligence, at social competencies. So, for example, a research that has been done between 2011 and 2014 around 90 countries showcase that women are more effectively employing emotional and social competencies correlated with effective leadership and management. So women are really good at adopting these so-called skills, those social skills. And this is not an opposition with men. It's not, on the contrary. Probably it's because or part of culture, because when a little girl cries, Papa says, "Oh, don't cry, my princess," and he has her. Whereas perhaps when a little boy cries, it's like, "Don't cry, men don't cry." So men tend to be raised with that conception of not being in touch with emotions, whereas women in general are more empowered to be in touch with emotions. So overall, this message is women are really great at social competencies, at effective leadership, and we need to transform those doubts, those kind of less competencies that we think we have, into doing. Like, we are a community of project management, so let's put into action who we are, our skills, our power around social competencies. Well, let's take a little bit of a journey in terms of soft skills. Soft skills first started to being studied, and research shows the positive correlation between soft skills around 90, where it says that goals and business goals were related to leadership. But the term soft skills first started in the US Army, because they identified that the results were not necessarily related only with technical skills, but with leadership, with those elements that they couldn't explain. So they start calling soft skills those skills that were really important for job, but the ones that didn't involve the use of machines. So machine-related or technical skills and soft skills on opposition. And they said that those job functions about which we know a good deal are hard skills, and those about which we know very little are soft skills. And this is like the US Army Training Handbook in 1972. This was the very first time when the words soft skills were named. So if we go back a little bit in time, we come to our days. So obviously the importance of soft skills since then has been studied. It's really important in organizations, in projects, but also the pandemic was a tipping point, was a breaking point where we realized how important these skills are to virtual environments, to motivating teams, to get things done in the hybrid world. And LinkedIn shows that 78% of the jobs posted at global level involve soft skills, because soft skills are super relevant, are the ones that help us to transfer our knowledge, regardless the organizations we are in, regardless the project we are working for. We always use these skills, and in fact are the skills that are going to be with us in our next job, in our next project. They are the ones that are going to make our career future-proof. So if these skills are so important, there is no need to call them soft, because that kind of soft implies not super relevant connotation. So this is an invitation to call these skills power skills, because they are critical for success. They are the ones that are going to help us to achieve results. And with this progress of technology, in a way, they are the skills that technology can't replace. In fact, if we go to PMI Annual Global Survey, 9 over 10 project professionals said that power skills help them to work smarter. And power skills are one of the three pillars of PMI talent triangle. In the past, they were called leadership skills. They are called now power skills and are one of the three main aspects of the talent triangle. If we deep dive into the annual survey, PMI annual global survey on project management results, we can see on screen that organizations and ultimately projects that place high priority on power skills are more likely to meet business goals, 72 over 65%. Also, these organizations, these projects experience less scope creep, 28 versus 40. And also suffer less budget lost, 17 versus 25. So ultimately, we can identify that power skills are correlated with business results, are also the ones that protect that budget lost. But what are the main key soft skills that now we're not going to call them any longer soft skills, they are power skills? The four main power skills identified by the PMI Global Survey are communication, problem solving, collaborative leadership, and strategic thinking. So I would like you, if you have paper handy, if not, it's an exercise as kind of homework, that you self-assess how you punctuate in those four elements. In a scale from 0 to 10, what number will you consider as a communicator? What number will you give as problem solving, being 10 the maximum, 0 the minimum? What number will you give to your collaborative leadership skills? And what number punctuation will you give to strategic thinking? If you have paper, you can quickly self-assess yourself. And I would like to invite you to then ask a colleague, ask your someone that reports into you, ask your boss, ask your partner, your husband, your wife, where do they see you? So you can self-assess that gap between how you perceive yourself and how others are perceiving you, because that will help you or to make you feel empowered and gain self-confidence, or to correct your perception and put in place kind of an action plan for the next months. And what concrete actions are you going to take in order to improve your communications, your problem-solving skills, your collaborative leadership, and your strategic thinking? Feedback is a gift. It's part of helping us grow and develop. So it's really, really important to self-assess ourselves and to develop that kind of meta-awareness of who we are. I'm going to share a couple of things that have helped me in this journey of trying to amplify my power skills. I highly recommend this book called Purpose. It's about leading with purpose. It's about integrating purpose in your life, working with purpose. And in one of the chapters about listening skills, the author reflects about the power of our body language. Our body language communicates a lot, sometimes even more than our words. So it's really, really important to be mindful of our body language. Also, our focus attention. Many times we are in meetings and we are multitasking, replying Teams message while we are like in that session. So it's really important to be concentrated in a relaxed concentration, because we tend to absorb information and learn more when we are relaxed, when we have fun. Super important to stay present, to connect in that dimension of doing and being. And also be open to ask questions, insightful questions. Many times we listen to other people to just reply to what they are saying. So we are like in a hurry to quickly respond. And we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, because it's more important to listen than to talk in terms of communication. And the power of questions, it was help team and helps people to think, to develop that strategic thinking, to develop that problem-solving approach. So questions are really, really important as part of our communication and collaboration skills. Curiosity, being really adopting an open mind, to be curious, to be open to new ideas, and also to adopt an open heart approach with compassion, with empathy. And then a little bit of a wrap up, summarizing. It's super helpful when we are having conversations, communicating, to check if our understanding is the correct one. So summarize the understanding. This is my understanding. Is that correct? Would you mind challenge me? Would you mind adding to what I'm saying? So listening more, it's super important to develop our communication skills, to adopt that collaborative leadership style. Another thing that is super important to develop our power skills is super relevant to today's conversation. It's embracing diversity and equity. Embracing diversity, not only gender diversity, but also intergenerational diversity, learning from people that are younger than us, older than us. It's really important also to embrace cognitive diversity, people that have different mindsets, that have different ideas, different backgrounds, and also intercultural diversity, because diversity promotes innovation. There are many research, one from Harvard, that says that teams solve problems faster when they are cognitive diverse. So for problem resolution, for strategic thinking, diversity is fundamental. It's something that is called Medici effect. Medici, remember the time of Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci. Medici were the families that were supporting innovation. And innovation at that time came by the combination of different fields. So like arts, but also medicine, astronomy. So in a way, in order to collaborate as teams, to adopt a collaborative leadership mindset, in order to think strategically, in order to solve problems, promoting innovation, it's part of creating new projects, and this is shaped by promoting a diversity, because we learn through others, and it's super important to allow that connection between who we are and what we do, for project perspective, but also to be happy as we progress in our journey. So again, summarizing, diversity, it's really important to develop our power skills, and these power skills also ultimately shape results. Having said that, and conscious of our time together, I would like us now to close making a commitment. We have been reflecting a little bit about stats, about the origin of soft skills that we now are going to call them power skills, because they are fundamental for success, project success, organizational success, and personal success. We have been acknowledging women and skills that are really important for us. Now I want us to make a commitment and how we are going to bring those power skills into life. So if you go to the Mentimeter tab again, you will see a commitment. So go please to the Mentimeter tab, and you will see that blue button to go to the slide. And it's International Women Day. How will you bring your power or your power skills into your project or organization? We have been reflecting, what is your small or big commitment for the upcoming weeks? And I'm going to put on screen the answers that we are receiving, encouraging you to take action. Thank you so much for being part of today's session. As I said at the very beginning, power skills are human skills, are the skills that help us to succeed in our career, and also to integrate that doing and being. So I would like us to close this session, making a commitment. I will put on screen some of the commitments that are coming, so that will inspire others to put into action some of the things that we have been discussing today. And also, please feel free to use the chat. So I'm going to read some of them. Be present in my interactions, avoid multitasking while in meetings, share my power skill self-assessment with my manager. Nice. Great communication and confidence, respect difference and learn from others. Be human, super important, being human. I will bring my communication and curiosity to the project that I manage. I commit to listen more, to be more focused and strategic, listen more and make sure different people's voices are heard, using the language power skills and ensure people know what it means, bring feedback to self so I can learn, use power skills. Again, thank you so much for sharing. We are on time. Happy International Women's Day. Thank you for the women in the audience, to the men in the audience. And let's use our power skills, because essentially it's who we are. It's being human. Thank you so much for joining the session.